and front to back on the sit bones. So just rock the pelvis back and forth slightly and observe the weight shifting from the front of the sit bone to the back of the sit bones. And then come to rest just about at the middle of the sit bones. Press the sit bones down into the chair. Rebound the energy up through the pelvis, through the sacrum. Follow the energy vertebrae by vertebrae through the lumbar spine, through the thoracic spine, through the cervical spine, through the skull to the top of the head. And once you've stacked each and every muscle, each and every vertebrae of the spine, bring your focus to the breath. And that focus is the focus of an observer of the breath initially. And without any conscious effort to change the breath, observe exactly what's happening with the breath at this moment. Follow the inhale from the moment the air enters the nostrils, swirls around the nasal cavities, down the throat, splits into the right and left lungs, and moves down into the lungs. Now follow the exhale, noticing the belly expanding and the lungs emptying from bottom to top. So keep following the breath and thinking of the breath as a circular motion. The inhale coming down the back of the spine, filling the lower parts of the lungs, expanding the belly. And the exhale flowing up the front of the spine, emptying out the lungs. Perhaps the image of a glass of water filling as you inhale and emptying as an exhale will help you visualize what's going on with the breath. Now begin to draw that breath more deeply into the lower reaches of the lungs, consciously focusing the efforts of your breath on the diaphragm. The diaphragm is a muscle that accounts for about 70% of the muscular action of our breath. Drawing the breath into the lower reaches of the lungs where most of the small sacs, the alveoli, where the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide occurs, those are down in that in those lower reaches of the lungs. Now begin to consciously expand the belly with the inhale and draw the belly back towards the spine with our exhale breath. Inhale. And once you've established that even movement of the breath between the inhale and the exhale, begin to consciously lengthen the exhale breath out. Let's take 5 complete rounds of the breath at our own time and our own pace, lengthening the exhale and deepening the inhale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, remembering to take this pattern of the breath into your practice, let's begin to warm up the neck by dropping the chin into the notch of the collarbones on our next exhale breath and inhaling to raise the neck, raise the chin back up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, and one more time. Exhale. And inhale, come back to vertical. Take the chin towards the right shoulder. Drop the chin center to the left shoulder and come back up. Exhale, drop, circle, and raise. For 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, and 5, and 5. Bring the head back to center. Interlace the fingers, place the hands behind the head. Now press the head into the resistance of the hands, activating the muscles at the back of the neck and strengthening them in an isometric muscular exercise. Let's release those hands. And just pick up one of your blocks and place it on the forehead. So now we're going to come the muscles at the front of the neck. And again, hold the block, press the forehead into the block. Again, now working on those muscles at the front of the neck. Exhale. Now let's go to this. We'll release. We can set our block aside. Take the fingertips of the right hand just above the left ear. Draw that right ear towards the shoulder. And now press the fingertips into the resistance, or press the head into the resistance of the fingertips. And then let go of all the effort. Once again, press in. And then release all your effort. And final time, press. And release the effort. Bring the head back to center. Release the right hand. Take the left fingertips just above the right ear. Left fingertips above the right ear. So Chris, reach across the top. That's it, Chris. And now press the head into the fingertips and then let go of all that effort. Once again, press in and release all the effort. And final time, press in and release all the effort. Release the hands down to the side. And let's give those shoulders a nice roll through that full range of motion. So sliding the shoulder blades down the back, rolling the shoulders forward, shrugging them up towards the ears, come straight back, and then slide the shoulder blades down the back. Once more, all the way around that circuit, and slide them down. Interlace the fingers, reverse the palms, press the palms out in front of you, and bring the arms towards straight. Lift the hands above the head and lift up to that point where you start to run into resistance. As we're lifting the palms towards the ceiling, remember to keep the shoulder blades sliding down the back. Release the fingertips, take the left hand to the outside of the right thigh and twist towards our right side. Bring that right hand to as close as you can to the base of the sacrum, and that right arm becomes a second spine as we twist around towards the right side. Lift the top of the head towards the ceiling with each inhale breath, and see if there's just a bit more space to twist towards the right as you exhale. Inhale, exhale, come through center. Take the left hand to the right hand to the outside of the left thigh. Again, work that left hand in towards the base of the sacrum and twist in the opposite direction. Breathe here. And exhale and return to center. The hands come to the side of the chair. Lift the arms overhead. Release the pointer fingers. Hug the biceps in towards the ears. Lift the upper body out of the sacrum and exhale towards our right side. Draw that left shoulder back as we lengthen the body and feel the stretch all the way down that left side of the body, stretching out the intercostals, each of those little muscles between the ribs, muscles which are part of the secondary group of muscles for breathing. Come back through center and now exhale over towards the left side. Again, lifting up and out of the pelvis, drawing the right shoulder back and stretching the intercostals on the right side of the body. Inhale, come back to center, exhale. And now let's just come into our first forward fold over the legs. The hands can come to rest on the thighs, or if they want to go deeper, you can either come onto your blocks or right down onto the floor. Inhale, exhale, and expand the ribs into the resistance of the thighs. Try and feel the breath moving into that area below the lowest ribs. Massaging the kidneys, massaging the endocrine glands, the liver. And let's inhale, come all the way up. Our hands meet overhead, and exhale, draw the hands back to heart center. Place the hands just above the knees on the thighs. And we'll do a few cat-cow moves. Inhaling, lifting the sternum. Exhale, gently round the spine towards the back of the chair. Pelvis is rocking back and forward. Inhaling up for 2. Exhale, round back for 2. Inhale, 3. 3. 4, 4, and 5, and 5. But on this 5th exhale, let's come back to a neutral spine. Interlace the fingers, come around the right, grasp the right shin, or use your strap around the right shin. Draw the right knee in towards the right side of the chest, and flex and point the toes on the right foot. Circle those toes in first in one direction, and then in the opposite direction. Let's release that right ankle onto the left thigh. And you notice there's a good likelihood you'll have started to round the spine will be rounding back towards the back of the chair. Try and lengthen the spine, support the front of the spine with the core muscles, and bring that weight back towards the center of the sit bones, and just allow that right knee to release into the right hand. You might just rock the right knee slightly. And now, if it's appropriate for you, slide that right knee across the left knee, stack the knees, reach around and lengthen the spine. Stretch the arms out towards the side of the room. So we have the right knee over the left leg. Let's take the left arm over the right arm, reach the fingertips onto the shoulder blades, and then think about bringing the hands together for our chair version of eagle pose. So squeezing everything in towards the center line of the body. Breathing here. And then let everything unravel and roll the shoulders. Just coming back to center. Now, interlace the fingers once more. Come to that non-dominant interlace and draw the opposite knee in towards the shoulder. Flex and point the toes. Circle in one direction and circle in the opposite direction. Bring the ankle to rest on the thigh, and remember to keep those toes flexed in towards the shin, and the mound of the big toe keeps pushing out. And if it's too much to take that knee up on, or the ankle onto the knee can rest down towards the side. And again, just support that knee with the left knee with the left hand. Let things rock here. And either cross or bring the knees into alignment. Inhale, lengthen the spine, press the sit bones down. Stretch the arms out to the side, and this time take the right arm over the left. Reach the fingertips onto the shoulder blades and bring the hands together for eagle, chair eagle on this side. Unwind everything. Bring the knees back and take the knees slightly wider than hip distance, and just allow the knees to sway in on each other. So you can let the hip, or let the sit bone on the side that you're turning in, you can let it rise away from the seat of the chair, getting that inner and outer rotation of the thigh. Come back to center. Let's walk the feet back into center, back into hip distance. Find your strap. Take the strap around the toe bases on the right foot. Press the mound of the right big toe into the strap and gently draw the mound of the little toe back towards the shin. You can increase the pressure of drawing those the toes towards the shin and start to feel a stretch in the calf muscles. If you want to continue to deepen the stretch all the way along the back body, lengthen the spine, fold at the hips, and fold over that extended leg. You might take a little slack out of the strap as you continue to fold, and keep that gaze somewhere maybe 3 to 4 feet in front of the toes, and almost think of moving the collarbones towards the toes. Let's inhale, come back up, lift the foot up to the point where the thighs are parallel, and once again, draw the shoulder blades back. Use that strength of drawing the shoulders together that we've developed through some of the weight work that we've done in previous classes. Keep drawing in and keep the breath smooth and even. Let's release the right foot. Now take and strap around the toe bases on the left foot. And once again, press the mound of the big toe into the strap. Draw the little toe side back towards the foot, the shin. Increase the pressure to feel the stretch in the calves. And then the option to lengthen the body forward and feel that stretch move up from the calf through the legs into the hip and maybe along the left side of the back. So all those interconnected areas of the fascia, that chain of fascia that runs all the way from the toe up to the roof of the mouth. Let's inhale, come back up and lift that leg so the thighs can parallel. Release that foot onto the floor. Set your strap aside for the moment. And let's find our therapy balls or tennis balls, whatever we're using for our fascia release work. Let's bring the ball underneath the mound of the big toe and press the mound of the big toe into the ball and try and bring as much pressure as you can onto that contact point between the mound of the big toe and the ball. Press the heel into the mat, and now keep the heel on the mat and roll across the toe bases from side to side. I don't know how many of you might be following that McMaster optimal aging profile, but one of the things they really keep emphasizing all the time is the importance of strengthening the intrinsic, the small muscles of the feet for balance, to continue for mobility, and really doing all those things that are necessary to maintain an independent lifestyle. So working on the very small muscles of the feet by rolling back and forth. And now place the ball underneath the mound of the big toe. Follow that line from the mound of the big toe all the way back to the center of the heel. Roll back to the big toe. Come to the first. So back and forth. Toe one, middle toe. And here we're following the structures of the foot, the metatarsal and the muscles and connective tissue supporting the foot, just following back and forth. Now, placing the foot on the ball and maybe bringing a little extra weight to bear on that leg by leaning into the thigh, randomly move the ball about the foot. Noticing the areas. Oh, welcome, Stan. We were missing you. Find those areas that are a bit tender, a bit may feel like they need some special attention, and lean into those areas and let the muscles of the foot relax around those areas. And now, again, you can lighten up on the pressure a little bit and try and find a way to just shuffle the foot back and forth. You might notice, if you can get moving fast enough, you might notice a bit of heat here. Now let's pick up the ball and come to this inner quadrant of the calf. So that line along the side, sort of looking at along the side of the calf, about mid-calf, sort of we're working on the outer branch of that Y of the calf muscles. So this is probably an area that, or certainly an area that I often feel a little tension in, a little tightness. And we did some stretching earlier on the calf muscles. And we'll try and do some of those poses to take advantage of that work of the loosening of the calves as we move into our asana portion of today's practice. Again, finding those tender spots, pressing in. You can lever the arm with the opposite leg to increase that pressure. And now let's move to so finding the shin bone and working inside the shin bone. And just lift and lower the toes as we work down the front of the shin. And perhaps even feel those muscles. Just notice, see if you can feel the muscles acting in the shin to lift and lower some of the toes. Now, let's move to the outer quadrant of the shin. And again, just notice how the action of the muscles in this area lifts the toes. So working down, up and down these muscles in the outer right shin. We don't need to work quite as hard in this area because these muscles are a little smaller. And now let's move to the outer branch of the calf. So that back quadrant, outer quadrant of the calf. Just working into that area. And just before we leave the calf and come up into the thigh area, just notice reach down and see if you can find the Achilles tendon And that should be pretty easy to find for most people. It's a pretty prominent area of connective tissue. And see if you can just loosen that up any amount. So now let's come up onto the thigh. Let's work the upper part of the thigh, our area of the quadriceps, this area right in here. So if you're cycling or bike or walking, gardening, getting up and down a lot, these are area thigh muscles may feel like they've had lots of workout recently. And you can work in the direction of the muscle fibers, so up and down in parallel to the thigh bone. Little different effect comes from working across, so rolling across. Another thing you might do is hold the ball stationary, press it in, and then twist on the ball. This is called pin and hold movement. And then we'll move from the thigh. We'll work on the IT band, that band of connective tissue gain that goes from all the way down the outside of the thigh. So working from that point at the top of the hip bone all the way down to the knee. And this is a great one if you do want to work on this a bit more on the floor and use a roller to work into it. Although I definitely wouldn't recommend that one for it's not comfortable. Now we'll finish off our work. To work on the hamstrings, we're going to move from that position near the front of the chair and maybe even think about angling the leg across the chair and just bring the ball underneath the hamstring muscle between the hamstrings and the chair. So we're angling off. And let's lift that leg up, straighten it out. And think about just rotating the foot in and out. And so that's moving the ball across the hamstring. So two ways you might approach that. One, a limited movement by just rotating the foot. And the other way is moving the foot side to side, so we're covering a bigger portion of the hamstring. Let's release, lift it up, and move the ball to a different space. Move it up, or move it closer to the inner knee, again, keeping it between, and just moving from side to side. And let's come off the hamstring on that side. Come to seated mountain towards the front of your chair. Even the weight out on the left and right sit bone, and do a quick comparison of the right and left sides of your body just to notice what might have changed, whether this side that's had the work feels a little different from the side that's still anticipating what's to come. Take a nice deep breath here and let's sigh out the exhale through the mouth. Let's take the ball. And if you're using two balls, you might just switch to the other ball, just so they do start to lose a bit of their springiness after a while. So wear them out equally, almost like rotating your tires. So let's bring the heel to bear, curl the toes up a little bit, spread the toes if you can, and roll back and forth along the toe bases. Now come to the mount at the big toe and roll back to the heel and then back towards the toe. Move one toe, first little toe out and back, middle toe out and back, next little toe out and back, and then the pinky toe out and back. Randomly explore the base of the foot and almost think of this as an exercising in mapping the foot. See if you can notice the arch, the heel, the center of the heel, the outer edge of the foot, the arch that goes across the front of the foot from the base of the big toe to the base of the little toe. And then stop, maybe find some areas that need a little extra pressure. And let's shuffle the foot. And release and come up off the foot. Let's begin on the inner quadrant of the calf. Let's just work up and down the calf. Now, identify that the front inner quadrant of the shin. And again, lift and lower the toes as we work into this area. Now move to the outer quadrant of the shin and continue to lift and lower the toes. And again, let's just place the fingers on that outer quadrant of the shin and notice the muscles tightening and loosening as we lift and lower the toes. Now, let's move to the outer quadrant of the calf. And again, working into the calf muscles. Releasing them. And let's come up onto the quads, the front of the thigh. And then the IT band in this leg. Sorry to be rushing a bit, but I want to get to some other, I want to take some advantage of this work we've done on the legs now to do some actual movement. And finally, angle the leg across the chair. And let the thigh rest on the chair, or let the leg rest on the ball. And let's lift the leg and begin by just rotating the foot. And then sweep that leg across the ball, rolling from side to side. And maybe move up to another location. Move back and forth. And let's release the ball. We'll just do a little quick work on the shoulder. So take the ball, go across to your opposite shoulder and work this area sort of from mid-shoulder back. You can feel the muscular tissue in this area. It can get fairly tight, so either just palpitate it, maybe initially just explore it with the fingertips. Find some areas that maybe need a little extra attention, and then use the ball on that to work into those areas. And let's switch to the opposite side. And again, just notice, explore a little bit with the fingertips. Identify some of those areas that may feel very, very tight. And then you can work that with the ball. And certainly this is an area you could easily spend 10 to 15, 20 minutes on this area, really working into these muscles. And let's release. So the final thing we're going to do is we're going to take one of our blocks, turn sideways on the chair. And I'm just going to turn my chair sideways. Place the chair, the block against the back of the chair and lean. Just place the block just below the armpit. Lean the body into the block. And then just rotate the body. We're sort of rolling the body across the block, pulling the muscles in one direction and then pulling them in the other direction. So this is an area that may not be very comfortable at all. These are the serratus muscles. We use them a lot in yoga, particularly in those chaturanga. Some of those poses we're supporting the weight of the upper body with the arms. And now let's turn around. I won't flip my chair to come on to the other side. And again, block below the armpit, lean in, and then roll the body back and feel a tug on the muscles as you move from side to side. And let's come back to center. Okay, we've done all this work to align the fascia and get the fascia all ready for our practice. So let's find that rolled up blanket or towel. Come to face the back of our chair. And place the towel behind the chair on the floor. Step the toe bases onto the rolled up blanket. And just notice the stretch that you feel in the calf muscles now. I'll give you all time to sort of get aligned here. So pressing the toes into the blanket, lift the heels away from the floor and come onto the toes on the blanket. And then let The calves lengthen as we descend down to the floor. Breathe here. And again, just allow the calves to lengthen gradually. And hopefully you're feeling a bit of melting, a bit of easing of that strain in the calf muscles. Let's once again lift the heels up and away from the floor. And now the toes are pressing into the blanket. And release the toes down to the floor. And let those calves lengthen again. Final time, let's press up onto the toes. This time strengthening and contracting those muscles of the calf. Coming down, bringing the heels back onto the floor, leaving the left foot on the blanket or towel. Step that right foot back, angle the right toes out towards the side of the mat. And we're now going to come into warrior one with the toes lifted onto the blanket or the towel. Now bend the knees into the point where the knee is over the heel and steer the knee towards the little toe side of the foot. Straighten the leg. Think about whether or not you want to shorten or lengthen the pose. If you feel super stable, you may be able to lengthen it to increase the challenge. If you're feeling a little unsteady, shorten the length between the legs. And that should feel a bit more stable. Now let's bend the knees in towards the chair. Concentrate on the position of that knee. Now bring the attention to the foot that's back. And let's lift the arms overhead for warrior one. Great job, everyone. Straighten the leg. And now let's step both feet back together. And this time, bring the arches of the feet onto the rolled up blanket or towel. And so the toes and the heels are off. And just balance yourself in the middle with the arches supported by the towel. Find a focal point. One more breath. And now slide the right foot so the toes are just lifted onto the towel or blanket. Take the left foot back to warrior one, your appropriate distance for warrior one. Straighten the leg and bend that knee in towards the chair. Straighten and bend. And once more, straighten and bend in. Lift the arms up and come to warrior one. One more breath in warrior one. Drop the arms. Now step that back foot in slightly so we've got a shorter distance between the legs. Turn the left toes out towards the side of the mat, but now more angled towards the front and towards the chair. Try and work the hip towards parallel with the chair and fold over the chair. You can bring your hands to wherever is appropriate and feel that stretch all the way down the back of the forward leg. Hope that makes sense. The back of the forward leg. Keep drawing the hip crease of the forward leg back. So notice what happens when you press that forward leg into the mat and then press the back leg into the mat. And just notice the action for the hips tilting one side to the other. And see if you can bring the hips towards level. Let's bring the hands back up on the chair, come up, and we'll do pyramid pose now on the other side, and then tree pose to finish off our standing work. So once again, press the toes into the block. Again, a bit narrower stance. Draw that hip of the forward leg back and fold over the chair. Breathing here. And again, alternately press one foot into the mat and then the other foot into the mat. And just notice how that moves the hips. Continue to fold over that leg, feeling the stretch all the way down the back of the forward leg. You may even draw the belly muscles up towards the spine and then lift the belly slightly towards the lowest ribs. And see if that intensifies the stretch any amount. Let's inhale, come up, setting our blanket aside, and come up to standing beside our chair. Build the foundation for our tree pose in the chair side foot. So first, connect the mound of the big toe to the mat, the mound of the little toe, the center of the heel. Lift the heel on the outside leg, and this may be, just with that heel lifted, this may be your tree pose for today. You can continue to move into tree by turning the knee out. Foot can still stay on the floor. Bring it up onto the calf. Resisting the calf into the foot, foot into the calf. Almost that type of isometric move we did earlier. Or bringing the leg up to the inner thigh. And sometimes it stays and sometimes it doesn't. Bringing perhaps one or both hands to heart center and opening the hands. Finding your focal point, not me, not anybody else, something off camera. Bring the hands back to heart center. Bring the knee up. Stretch out the leg and release. We'll move to the opposite side. Press again, the other foot, the chair side foot. Lift the toes, spread the toes, press them into the mat. And think of that line from all the way down the chair side of the body. Lift the heel, turn the heel, ankle, calf, or thigh, and bring the hands together. Perhaps open the arms and breathe here. Bring the hands back through heart center. Bring that knee in. Stretch out and hold. And release. And just take a moment to shake things out before we settle down. Rotate the chair so it faces back towards the camera. Coming in seated, let's just turn the body sideways for our final twist today. And inhale here. And let's exhale, twisting towards the chair. And again, the hands are just simply to guide and support the upper body. The muscles of the core are activated to take the body into this twist. Inhale, come back through center. Let's come around to the opposite side. And now twist gently towards the chair. Exhale, come back to center. Slide yourself back in the chair. It's going to be a short final relaxation today. Prepare yourself for final relaxation by settling the breath. Surrendering the body to the support of the chair. Relaxing as completely as you can. Easing the breath. Relaxing the breath, relaxing the body, relaxing the mind, and resting in the heart. Let each exhale breath carry away any tension, any holding, anything that no longer serves you. And set aside just for a moment any thought of what you're going to do after the class, and focus your mind's eye on the breath. Now, let's begin to wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Slide ourselves back towards the front of the chair. Come to seated mountain. Let's take a nice deep breath in. And as we take that deep breath in, let's lift the arms. And exhale, sigh out the exhale through the mouth and sweep the arms down. Inhale, come back to center. Bring the hands together at heart center. Thank yourself for making time for today's class. Thank each other for sharing your practice, sharing your energy, sharing your time. And thank you for allowing me to guide you through your practice today. Namaste.